Howdy, folks. This is the face of a guy who stayed up until 4 or 4:30 in the morning playing Dead Island Cooperative with a couple of my buddies from California and drinking beer the entire time. So, needless to say, um, still recovering a little bit, but it was absolutely a blast. And that game, for those of you that don't know, it's kind of unique because it's you can play your single player campaign, uh, and at any point you can invite people into your game. You can make it public where people that are looking for one can join in, and they can leave, come and go, whatever. And 2 days later, you can bring it up and you can keep playing your single player campaign regardless of how many people have come in and left and contributed to helping you um, move forward and everything. So you can do the whole thing single player if you want to, or you can have it open to the public, or you can invite people. It's kind of unique that way. I finished the campaign today, the single player, the one that me and my buddies were playing last night. I ended up finishing it today by myself. And the one piece of advice I'd give is that if you are going to play it and you plan to do a lot of it single player, make sure you do all the side quests, because the side quests are where you get your mods, your blueprints for mods for your weapons. And if you get ahead of the story into another chapter, sometimes a particular quest will no longer be available to get that mod for. So you kind of want to do your side quests as you go. That's my my advice if you're going to play Dead Island. I loved it, so I can definitely recommend it. The other thing is that Civilization 5 was on sale on Steam, 75% off, and I already had it, but I didn't have the expansion, Gods and Kings. So I went ahead and got that and started Civ 5 up again. And I know that time is going to disappear now. Now that I'm done with Dead Island, time will just disappear as I'm playing. As with any of the Civilization games, they just, you're sitting there and you're saying, oh, a couple more turns. Next thing you know, 3 more hours has gone by. So I am preparing myself for that. And as part of that, I just wanted to show that I have my Civilization cred. I started with the very first one. This is the book for it, and then I've also still got my book for Civ 2. And the thing that I thought was kind of funny when I found these is that this book for Civ 2, this book is 190 pages. The rule book, and I mean, I don't think anybody could even imagine buying a game now where they had this much reading material if they wanted to sit down and actually read through all the different strategies and hints and rules and everything else. And I mean, it's this one's not quite as many, but it's still over 100 pages. So that's those. And now with like Civ 5, there's no book at all. You just it's kind of intuitive, and they kind of give you hints as you go along. So that's how things have evolved. Then another thing that was funny today is that I go to a website called FARK, FARK.com, and it's a lot of you probably know it and have been there. But those that haven't, it's a news aggregator site where you just go and they just compile different, news topics, and then there's a section for people to comment on them and all that. And they've been FARK's been around for over 10 years. So anyway, so I was on there today, and they have a geek, category there, stories, for geeks and stuff like that. And somebody had mentioned that that someone just produced for the first time. They made it sound like for the first time that you could get the blueprints for the spaceships in Star Wars. And of course, there were several of us that jumped on there and said, no, they've been around in other forms for quite a while. And so what it did is it prompted me to dig out so that I could prove it to myself, and my Star Wars Technical Journal, and this is from came out in 95, and inside it has foldouts of the different, I don't know if I'll be able to do that and show it to you or not, but it has foldouts of all the blueprints and everything, as, you know, here's one right here. Well, it just happens to be the Millennium Falcon. So, anyway, so there's blueprints in here for everything, all the ships, the weapons, you know, everything. So, if you're a Star Wars aficionado like me and you didn't know this existed, it does. And just so that I give equal time to the Trekkies out there, I actually have the Star Trek Starfleet Technical Manual, which also has, just like that one, it has all the stuff in it. All the blueprints for everything are in here. So that made me think of that today, and I figured I'd dig those out of my archives and show them to you. Just so we have some equal time there, I decided to do the Star Trek stuff too. And then the last thing is that on my previous video I talked about how I had stocked up on winter type ales, because that's what I like to drink during the winter. You know, I like dark beers and stuff like that in the wintertime, because it's kind of, I keep it chilly in the office to keep the computers cool and stuff. So I like the darker, thicker beers in the wintertime. And so I had, on that previous video, I had shown that I had stocked up on 4 different ones. I've actually added 2 more to that, to get me through the rest of the winter. One is called Alta. Let's see if I can get it without the light on there for you. Alta 75th Anniversary Ale, and it's referencing the Alta Ski Resort right up here. That's 40 minutes away from where I live, and it's made by the Utah Brewers Cooperative. And what that is, it's 2 different, Utah Brewers Cooperative. It's 2 different breweries that we have here in Salt Lake. We have a lot more than that, but the 2 bigger ones, Squatters and Wasatch, they have their own cooperative where they brew stuff together, and I guess they share the profits or whatever. This is one of their beers, and it's a limited time thing. They're doing it just for the 75th anniversary. And if you like hoppy beers, hoppy and a little spicy, quite a kick to it, it's definitely what you would call a Christmas beer. It's good, and if that's your thing, it'd be right up your alley. And then the other one is one of my favorites, which is the Wasatch Evolution Amber Ale, and this is stupid good. You could knock back several of these, and the last one will be just as delicious as the first. So anyway, so I will link below to the other video. If you're watching this one and you're interested in the beer stuff, I'll link to the previous video where I talk about the 4 other ones that I've got kind of stockpiled for the winter. And then I'll also put a link to that fark.com story, or the thread about the Star Wars blueprints, in case anybody's interested in going and seeing how that argument went with everybody online there. So that's it for this video. Thanks for making it through. And if you like my videos, please make sure to click the thumbs up and subscribe if you haven't subscribed. And if you don't like them, make sure to comment and tell me what kind of an asshole I am in the comments. Those comments are welcome too. So anyway, oh, and Happy New Year.